So, you're thinking about starting your own business, but you're also on benefits. And the big question is, can you actually do it? Is it even worth it? Well, we're going to break it all down, the rules, the risks, and the rewards, step by step.
You know, the dream of being your own boss is something so many of us have. But when you rely on benefits to get by, it can feel like a massive, terrifying leap. Is it even possible to chase that dream without putting everything at risk? That's exactly what we're going to find out.
And let's be real, trying to understand all the rules and regulations can feel like you're lost in a maze. It's so easy to get overwhelmed, but I promise you there is a clear path through it all, and we're going to walk it together. To make this super practical and not just a bunch of theory, we're going to follow the journey of someone we'll call Maria. By seeing exactly how the system works for her, you'll get a really clear picture of how it could work for you too. Okay, let's get into it. First things first, let's meet Maria and see where she's starting from. So this is Maria. She's 34, she's got an 8-year-old son, and right now she's on universal credit to help make ends meet. The exciting part is she's just trained up as a domestic energy assessor, and her big goal is to go self-employed. Sound familiar? It's a situation a lot of people find themselves in. All right, before we start crunching Maria's numbers, we need to get our heads around the basic rules of the game. Let's cover the absolute must-knows of how benefits and starting a business actually mix. The main player here is Universal Credit, or UC. Now, it's means tested, which is just a fancy way of saying it's based on your income. So here's the most important takeaway. The second you start earning money from your business, you absolutely must report it because it's going to affect your UC payment. So, what's the very first thing you need to do? You've got to register as a sole trader. If you earn more than $1,000 in a tax year from your business, it's not optional. You have to do it. You just register for self-assessment with HMRC, and boom, that's it. You're officially self-employed in the eyes of the government. Okay, now for the bid that tends to scare people off, the minimum income floor. It sounds way more complicated than it is, I promise. Stick with me, we're gonna make this crystal clear. So the minimum income floor, or MIF, isn't what you actually earn. It's an assumed amount. The DWP basically looks at the minimum wage and says, for the hours you're expected to work, we think you should be earning this much each month. It's just a benchmark they use. And here's how it actually works. If your business earns more than that assumed amount, no worries. Your universal credit is based on what you really earned. But, and this is the catch, if you earn less, they calculate your UC as if you did earn that higher assumed amount. And that can mean your payment drops by more than you'd expect. But there is a massive exception to that rule. And it all boils down to this number: 12 months. This is your breathing room. This is your safety net. It's called the startup period, and for your entire first year of being properly self-employed, that minimum income floor we just talked about, it gets completely switched off. This is huge. It means for a whole year, your universal credit is based only on what you actually earn, giving your new business a real chance to find its feet. Okay, so let's get back to Maria. We're going to apply all these rules to her situation and answer the million-dollar question. Will she actually have more money in her pocket at the end of the month? First up, what can she earn? Maria reckons she can do about 20 energy assessments a month, and she charges £60 for each one. A quick bit of math, and that gives her a potential monthly income of £1,200. Not bad at all. But that's not the number Universal Credit looks at. You have to subtract what it costs to run the business, her allowable expenses. We're talking travel, fees, insurance, all the essentials. For Maria, that comes to £230 a month. So, you take her income, that's £1,200, and you take away her expenses of $230. That leaves her with £970. This is the magic number. This is what UC will use to figure things out. And this is exactly how her universal credit payment changes. From her net earnings of £970, she gets to subtract something called a work allowance because she's got a child. That leaves £635. This number is then hit with the taper rate, which is 55%, so her UC payment gets reduced by just under £350. So what's the bottom line for Maria? Well, before starting her business, her total monthly income from benefits was £1,124. After starting her business, even with her UC going down a bit, her new total income is over £1,700. Just look at that difference. Let's put a fine point on it. By starting her own business, Maria is over £620 better off every single month. That's not just a small top-up. That is a life-changing amount of money. Okay, so the numbers can definitely work, but the good news is you don't have to figure all this out on your own. Let's quickly look at the support that's available to help you get going. There is a whole network of help out there, and a lot of it is free. The government has a business support helpline, you can find local groups that offer free mentoring, and even your local Job Center Plus can give you some guidance. Don't be afraid to use these resources.
And what about getting some cash to get started? Well, there are things like government-backed startup loans, grants from local councils, and sometimes even special funding if your business is in a specific area like green energy. The money is out there if you know where to look for it.
But of course, we've got to be realistic. Being your own boss isn't without its risks. Work might be quiet some months, you could get sick, or your car could break down. It is so important to be aware of these challenges and try to plan for them, maybe by building up a little emergency fund when you can.
So there you have it. We've demystified the system, we've walked through the numbers, and we've seen that it is absolutely possible to be significantly better off. The path is there. So the only question left is, now that you know how it works, what's your next step?